Today we will be creating Instagram stories using React Native CLI. On my right side I have my simulator running, iPhone 15 Pro, and on the left side I have my code. And on the right side I just want to give you a demo before we get started. So this is what we're going to create, Instagram stories. We have the dynamic images that are going to show up and the videos that are going to show up. On the top we have these tabs and they will render based upon how much contents we have in our story object. So we can play it, we can mute the video, we can also skip forward to the next story how you normally do on Instagram. You can go back, move between the stories, you can close the story. Obviously in the Instagram you don't have the close button, but I have made more options and we're going to add more stuff to the story component and we'll make it to our own liking. And you can get out of it, then you have your profile over here where you can click on it. So it's a basic demo and you can learn React Native, how to code in it. So let's get started. So let's get cracking and set up our project for the Instagram stories. So first what we need to do is we need to go into, we'll create a directory called mkdir, which is mkdir means make directory, and we'll say React Native project. And make sure if you have that existing directory, then obviously it won't be created, but if it doesn't exist then it will be created. Make sure to cd into it React Native projects, and you do command K. And now what we need to do is we need to set up our project. So npx React Native, and if you don't have React Native set up, I have uploaded a video to set up your React Native environment using React Native CLI. So we are using React Native CLI rather than using Expo CLI. So if you haven't set it up, watch that video and set it up and come back to this video. And we'll do latest and we'll do init and we'll say Instagram stories, or we'll just say stories rather than Instagram stories. So it will ask us React Native 0.74.1, which is the latest released version. So we'll say yes, and we'll hit enter. Now this will take some time, so I'll skip forward till the part where it's all set up, and I'll see you there. So everything is set up right now. So what I also did was I set up my CocoaPods over here. If you opted for no, N, then I'll show you how to set it up in the project. And all the things have been initialized. And just wanted to give you a precaution. If you got stuck in any of the stuff over here and you were not able to set up the project using React Native CLI wasn't properly set up and it failed, what you need to do is you need to go watch my video which I described to set up your React Native CLI environment. And after that you will have your React Native CLI, you will be able to initialize this project. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd into the stories and we're going to do code space dot, which will open our VS Code. So VS Code open, and now we can basically show you what we have. We have a app.tsx file and we're going to get rid of a lot of things. So initially for that, what we're going to do is we're going to open this and we'll also open a simulator. So a simulator that is this way. And I'll show you a way to basically see the simulator and the VS Code together so it looks really good. And what you need to do is you need to bring them together like this, take it up, and obviously I'm using a Mac for this. So, and we're going to be targeting iOS, but I'll show you how it looks in Android later when we are completely finished up. So, and drag it like this to make it big. So, and while on the side, you can also open your terminal like this, and you can say yarn start. This will start your metro. And you can hit I. This will build your application on the on iOS, and it will find whichever simulator is running. So for in our case, it's iPhone 15 Pro, and it will tell you that shortly it will tell you that it found iPhone 15 Pro Max. while this project is running, I'll show you how the project looks like, the directory. So we have iOS folder, native folder, which has iOS things, Android folder, which has build.gradle things, and this is React Native CLI, so it's native. And we have a main app.tsx, which is running the code right now. And we have the app which returns this, and it's using React Native native components given by React Native, and we're just using them to display some text or some things, and we will change all of it. And in the terminal, as you see, it says found booted iPhone 15 Pro, and it's building on this. So now we're back and the app is launched, and it will shortly build over here, and you will see that it will show you the native components on welcome to React Native step 1, and we have bunch of links and stuff. So it's all over here. See your changes. So we'll delete all of this. So I just wanted to show you that now we're set up and now we're ready to go, and we'll make these changes. So firstly, what we need to do is we need to come up on GitHub, and we'll need to download some assets that we have, some like assets for stories, like pause, like pictures that we're going to use for stories. And I've already put these on GitHub, and you can find it on this URL, and I'll basically show you. And you can basically download it, a zip folder. Once you've downloaded it, what you need to do is you need to come out, and what you need to do is you need to create, click on this, you need to create a new folder. You can say src, that folder should be named src, and inside that folder we'll have that source code in there. So we'll basically put a new folder called assets, or actually leave it for now, and because the things that we downloaded is this one, so just bring this into assets, drag it and drop it into source. Now we have assets, and we're ready to go now. So that's looking all good, and you can close this, and we can also empty our trash, and we're ready to go now. So what we need to do is we need to drag it again back into this. So now everything that we need is already. So make sure to get all these pictures, like Binaryhood logo, like pictures that we need for stories that we showed you before, like the MP4 files. So yes, so we're ready to go now, and let's get cracking. So firstly, we need to delete all these styles, and we'll need to delete all whatever is in this safe area and stuff. Delete it. Background styles, delete it. Now it will obviously fail. It will tell you that there will be an error. So I want to show you that it fails in like in real time. So everything you're deleting, you're saying delete now, and you'll delete this. So now let's save it, and it's saying unexpected token, and so yeah, we're returning nothing, so it gives us an error. So now what we need to do is, as I showed you, we can also go and search up Instagram stories, and I also showed you how it looks before when we started, and Instagram stories, and they basically look like a profile icon at the start. There is like a profile icon like this, and when you click on it, then it takes you inside, and we have these stories, and then that has pictures. We're obviously not going to be creating these features where you can send it to your friends, but we're going to create a container that contains the picture or videos and how many seconds that picture that we want to show for. So let's get started. Firstly, we want to be targeting this part, which is the outline, which is the profile. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a use state. Firstly, we're going to create a new folder that has our components. So components, and now the assets and components, and inside you want to basically create a profile component. We're gonna name it profile, profile.tsx. We're using TypeScript for this. So profile.tsx, and we're going to import React basically. And well, now I have these extensions installed. So if you want to use, you can download ErrorLens, ES7, these extensions, and they're really helpful. So ErrorLens, ESLint error, and ES7. So these three will definitely help you out in coding. They are game changer. So we have imported React, and it's saying React is not being used. Yeah, definitely. We're now going to define our type profile, and type profile component props. We can say these will be the props that we're expecting when we call this component. And we're going to say outline color. So as you saw, that outline color, we can definitely give an outline color, and we can say outline color is a string. We're going to pass it a string into this, and we're going to use this as a outline color. And then we can say display name, what you want to display underneath the picture. So display name, and we're using camel case. So camel case is when you name one word, the second word should start with a capital. So camel case is that. And string is the type. So string, and then image URL. So image URL, what image do you want to display in that thing? So we're going to name it as an optional for now. So if you don't have an image, but obviously we're going to pass it in. So string, and then we're going to pass it a function that when it's pressed, when we press that story component, what it needs to do. So on press, we're going to name it on press wrapped, and we're going to say it's a function, and it doesn't return nothing, so void. And when I do Command S, it does prettier stuff. And definitely, if you guys are not using Prettier, download Prettier. It's a very beautiful extension, neatens your code. And now let's get started on creating our component. So const profile, and then we're going to say react.fc functional component. We're going to give it the type, what we need, profile component props, and we're going to say equals, and we're going to do this, and we'll say we expect an outline color, and we expect a display name. And see how the IntelliSense is giving me the completing the code for me, saying like, oh, do you mean that image URL? So image URL, definitely. Or you can do Command C and Command V, and you can just do on press Command Ra and this. So not all of it, and we're good to go. So now definitely this is that, and we want arrow function, and we're going to say that this is, it says it's never being used, so that's good. And we want to say return this basically. And we're going to say, firstly, we need a view. View is something provided by React Native. So as you see, it comes from React Native, and say view, it holds your views. And for now, we're going to give it a style. So let's say styles.container. We're going to create styles in the bottom. So styles.container, container, and it says style sheet, cannot find name style sheet. So we definitely don't want to give it style sheet. We want to say styles.container for now. Obviously, we're going to give it an error. And we definitely need a view closing tag. And let's say we need just a second, guys. So we need to bring this inside a thing. So yeah, so definitely it will do it later. So we'll say touchable opacity. Touchable opacity is something when you touch, it dims. So it gives you a feedback like the user is touching on it. So it also has an on press function, and we'll pass the on press wrapped, that we are going to pass it as a prop in here, on press wrapped. and we're going to close this. So, and then we're going to create a new view, which has basically, let's close this, which has the styles. So style, and we're going to open this up, and we'll say styles. We're going to pass an array in here. So we'll come back to this later actually, and we'll now do an image, which we want to show our image. So this way, image is also provided by React Native, a really good thing. And it's actually a self-closing tag. So we're going to do a self-closing one in this image. So image. And what we are going to do is we need to pass a source. Source is where we have the image. So we're going to check for now. We're going to check if the image URL is there, like image URL is there. If it exists, then we're going to say URI, take the URI, like assign it to a URI, otherwise image URL. And we're going to say require. Require is a thing where we are going to get the image from. Require /assets and /binary.png. So, and for now, obviously, this will give me an error. We didn't import it, so you can comment and like hover over it. And we also need to pass styles to this one too. So styles dot profile image. Let's say we're going to create a profile image. So this will be the profile image, and see how this is turning into style. So definitely change it back. And for this view, I want to pass an array actually. So array of two things, image container, which will contain our image, and keeping it inside, you want to pass an object border color and the outline. So our border color, so we're going to pass this, and we're changing the border color, which we are going to define outside. So as you see, you can pass any of this outline color. So you're passing this border color. So now the styles, it cannot find styles. So we basically need to define our styles downside. And definitely now lastly, we can define our text, which will show the name, Instagram, belly row, like something like that. So define your text and give it a style. So everything is being styled. So styles dot name text, something like that, name text. So make sure to change it back. It's auto renaming it for me, and I definitely don't want that. So it's saying styles, text is not defined. So yeah, for now. And inside, obviously, I want to define the display name. So display name. So now outline color does not exist on just a second, because I didn't rename it properly. So copy this, and we had a mistake. So actually I made a mistake, my bad over here. I need to make it capital. So capital, and now because we are using camel case, so image URL and everything looks good. So now if you come outside of this, we need to define our styles. So guys, styles are the main thing, and you want to come up here, you do style sheet .create. So style sheet is actually provided by React Native. So style sheet .create, something similar to CSS, but a lot different. So you can provide your names of the, so basically we have a container, first of all, container, and you can give we can create objects, and then we can define what is the style. We on the left side is the name property. So flex, we want to say take the whole space, flex of 1. We want to say justify content, so justify content, and we want to say put it into center, comma, and you want to say align items also center. So align items center, and now we are good. So as you see, look, the error went away. So we definitely have no error. So now we need to create our image container. So image container, and this error goes away, as you see. So we want to give our border width, so the width of our image. So we want to say, let's say 5. We can test with it. I definitely obviously don't know like how much it will come out. We definitely need to test with it, and we need to do border radius. We can do 80 for this because we need to make it round. So padding of let's say 0.2 for now. And now we need to do our profile image. I missed a comma. Profile image, and as you see that we are still missing the border color, it says we're gonna define it, so bear with me. So profile image and width, we're going to say 100, take the whole width, and we're gonna say height, take the whole 100%, and border radius of a 52 for this one. So because it's the profile image, we want to make it round. And now we're going to define our name text. So name text, and we're gonna say margin top. So from the picture, margin top, from the picture, how much do we want to display the name? So like a margin from the picture, we're gonna say let's say 8 for now. And we're gonna say font size, we're gonna say 18, and we're gonna say text align into center for now. So for now, obviously we are going to play around with it and we'll see how it looks. So we definitely need to play around with it, and we'll see how it like looks, how it will look like when we build it. So I actually made a mistake over here, make it border color. So definitely it will recognize what is the CSS property inside. So this image container, so if you want to add something into this image container, you can pass it in like this. So obviously at initially we don't know how profile looks. So, and definitely also we need to export it, export default, the name profile, and the error goes away. So now everything is defined at the top. So profile, export default profile. So, but we're not still using it. So the error is still in app.tsx. So in app.tsx, if you come, we definitely are not using it over here. We have defined our profile. So what we can do is we can say const. So when we go inside the story, we definitely need to pass in a function. We need to create a function that we need to see when we go inside the story. We need to create a use state, which we can track. If we are inside the story, it will be true. If we are outside, then it will display the profile. So currently we can create, React gives us use states, which we can basically use for numbers, for Boolean values, and we can change these values depending upon state. Use state basically renders the UI. So I'll show you. We're going to create something called inside story, which will hold the value, and we will say set inside story. So set inside story, and then we're going to say use state, which is provided to us by React, and this will be the initial value that we are not inside the story. So and we're going to create a function. Function are easy, it's simple. So TypeScript is JavaScript just with types. Just wanted to clear that. So open story. So when we want to open the story, we're going to set the state to set inside story to true. So we're going to make it true. And now when we want to just copy this, I want to close story. So, and make it false. So we are closing this. So now we want to just return, for example, we just want to now create the profile, obviously. Profile, we don't have the story component yet. So we're going to say, we're going to close this and let's see. So profile doesn't exist. So let's initially import this profile. And now we have this like picture which does nothing on the right side, if you see. And we need to pass in the props. So as you see, it says type is missing following profile component props that we created over here. So we need to give it an outline color, display name, image URL, and we definitely have the picture obviously because we have given it over here if the image is not there. So definitely that's why it's showing. Otherwise it wouldn't have been showing that. If we would have passed the image from here, then it wouldn't be showing. So let's give it the the props. So outline color. So I have it as a hex that I remember. It's a green hex. So we want to do hash hash. So you can use any to your like. A D and it's 1D. 1D. So that's a green hex. So which I opted for, this one, which is like a close friend stories that Instagram does. So I'm gonna say Binaryhood. You can use any of it, any to your liking. And on press wrapped, we're going to need to pass a function which is open story, which makes the state true. So now when we do, we have this something like this. We can obviously experiment with the changing. We can make it purple, like it goes purple. So anything to your liking. For now, we're gonna stick it with the green one. So if you see now, it looks something like similar. The profile. We have a profile. We have a picture inside, and we also have a outline of an image. Oh, sorry, the color. And we have passed open story, and it says inside story is assigned a value but never used. So we are not using inside story yet. So I'm gonna come back to that later and show you why it's because we're not using it. So we'll now need to create the story component, which is basically the Instagram story component. So we'll see you in the next part and create it over there.